My mom abandoned me when I was 2 months old. Now, after 22 years, she wants back in my life. But I'm planning my revenge. My father, who was 76 years old at the time of his death, married his first wife at a very young age. They had one son. My brother is now 58 years old. My father's family comes from old money, so after his parents' death when my brother was little, my dad inherited a sizable fortune. The wife died when my brother was 19 years old. Around 17 years after his first wife's death, my dad met my mom, and after a year of dating, they got married. At the time of their wedding, my dad was 53 and my mom was 24. I think it's important for the context of this story to specifically note their age difference, as it caused some resentment, particularly in my older brother, who is 11 years older than my mother. I was born soon after their wedding, and when I was around 2 months old, my mom essentially packed her bags and left my father and me. That was all I knew of this story until after my father died. Thereafter, I was solely raised by my father, and we've had a fantastic relationship. He was a great dad and tried his best to give me everything he could. One thing he refused throughout my childhood was talking about my mother in any way. He never badmouthed her, but he also never said anything substantial that would give me any clue about what kind of a person she was. My brother and I had a complicated relationship. He was always respectful and friendly towards me, but also distant. We never had a brotherly-sisterly relationship, which in a way is expected since he is 36 years older than me. Through him, I also have 2 nephews and a niece, 29 male, 27 male, 24 female, all of whom are older, and we've had more of a cousin type of relationship. My brother and my father had a very strange relationship. I later learned this was due to the resentment my brother held over our father for marrying my mother. As said before, I had no contact with my mother or any member of her family for my entire childhood. Besides my father, brother, and his family, the only other family was my aunt. In November 2019, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. It was advanced and very aggressive. Although he went through extensive treatment, he died last January, which devastated me. We were extremely close, and I still can't believe he is gone. He left some of his money to my aunt and my nephews and nieces, but most of it was split evenly between my brother and myself. After my dad's death, I was dealing with some anxiety. One of the fears I particularly harbored was the fear of being left alone, abandoned. I had my aunt, but she was also in poor health, and if anything happened to her, I was really afraid that I would be left alone. I didn't think my brother would be particularly inclined to upkeep our relationship, but I was very wrong. My brother and his wife, who's 56, stepped up and in a way assumed a sort of parental role. SIL has been very keen on including me in their family life and has been calling and visiting very often. I couldn't be more grateful, and we've established a close relationship. The core of my problem, however, appeared at my father's funeral back in January. My father had a lot of friends and what he called associates, so my brother decided to hold an open funeral so that everyone could come and say goodbye to my father. Well, my mother appeared with her entire family, and when I say her entire family, I mean it. I didn't recognize her. I've only seen some photos of her, but my brother's reaction soon made me realize it was her. I didn't recognize any of the other people that came with Amber, my mother's name, but was later told about them by my aunt. Amber brought her husband, children, her parents, siblings, and their families. Moreover, her husband's family also came. My brother was pissed and wanted to throw them out, but SIL convinced him otherwise. I have to say I didn't know how to react at that point. I think I glanced their way a couple of times. After the funeral was over, Mum came towards us with her husband and tried to give her condolences, but my brother told her to leave, that she was not welcome and did not come close to us ever again. I didn't speak with her or any member of her party. When she came over, I sort of partially hid behind my nephew. At one point I think she tried to say something to me, but my brother shut her down. He was pretty rude, but I think it was, in a way, understandable. I tried to ask my brother questions about Mom, but he refused to talk, so I convinced my aunt. Seeing my mother and her new children made me want to know why left me. I was half expecting that Aunt would also be hating Mom, but she seemed convinced that Mom cared for my father when they first met, but that after they married they realized the impact their age difference had on their married life. I learned that while Mom was pregnant with me, she met Mom's current husband, 52M, who was working close to my father. Mom's new husband was married at the time and had 3 children, but his wife was very sickly and died at one point during my mother's pregnancy. After I was born, my mom suffered postpartum depression and left with ex when I was 2 months old. My brother hated my mother and believed she was a gold digger, but my aunt assured me that mom never demanded or got any money after dad and her divorced. The last aunt heard, my mom married her new husband soon after. She gave up all her parental rights after the divorce and also refused visitations. I asked my aunt if mom ever tried to initiate contact while I was growing up. She didn't, but her younger sister tried to see me twice when I was 6 and 10, but my father refused. I have to say this hurt me a lot. It was one thing knowing that she left, but another to know that she left to be with another man and his children. I searched her on Facebook and saw that she had 3 children with mom's husband and also considers as 3 children hers. In some posts they referred to her as a mom. I was pretty hurt, so I left it at that. In a way, I kind of forgot about it until March, when a girl with a familiar name followed me on Instagram. I recognized her name instantly as mom's husband's daughter with his wife. I was confused. Why would she follow me? I did not follow her back. During the next couple of months I got followed on Instagram by other members of my mom's family, her children, nephews, and nieces. Even her mother followed me. I never followed back, nor did we ever strike a conversation. Some of them liked some of my pictures, but never beyond that. I didn't tell anyone about this, nor did I have any intention of initiating a conversation with any of them. A week ago I was followed by my mom. It was quite shocking seeing the notification, and I did not know what to think. In a way, it felt intrusive. I should have put my profile in private. That very same day she sent me a message. It was a very long message, and after reading it I was very conflicted. In the message she introduces herself, expresses how hard it is for her to write this message. She in a way expresses regret for leaving me, doesn't say why, and expresses her wish of meeting me in person to talk and get to know me. I did not respond. It's been a week since I read it, but I simply can't bring myself to respond. In a way, I don't know what to say. On one hand, I've always wanted to know my mom, but that was before learning why she left, or rather how she left. But then again, I feel like meeting her would be a betrayal to my father. I truly believe he started hating her after she left. I also feel like meeting her would be a betrayal to my brother, who has become my biggest support system in the last year and has truly taken care of me. He detests her, and I know he would not be okay with me meeting her. I also ask myself, why now? The only thing that changed is that my father is no longer around. Would my mom contact me if my father was still alive? Would she contact me at all? I have no idea what to do or how to respond, or whether to respond at all. I would really appreciate any advice.